Hello everyone, this is Kosher Bacon. Today I'm doing something a bit different than normal. This is a voiceover if I'm doing everything correctly. Shouldn't be too hard to do, but we'll see if I can manage it. So, it's time for another Let's Talk, yeah? So let's talk. What am I talking about today? I just saw the Slenderman movie. That was like 2016, 2017. I didn't even look at the date. And I gotta say, just overall, as a first impression, not impressed. Like, I can't imagine a lot of people are going to be willing to defend that movie, but just in case they are, let's go ahead and break down why I wasn't super impressed by it. First off, in case you didn't know, Slenderman. What is he? Who is he? Um, I guess I'll have to explain what a creepypasta is. Basically, a copypasta is something that's been copied and pasted all over the internet. You've probably seen a couple of them, maybe without even knowing what they are. An example of that would be the infamous Navy SEALs copypasta, which yeah, I'm not going to go over that one, but you've probably seen that one already. If you haven't, go ahead and look it up. It's hilarious. Or don't. I'm not your boss. So that's what a copypasta is. A creepypasta is a internet horror story, if you will, that gets copied and pasted over and over and over again. Or at least that's what they originated as? I don't know. I really don't. The point is that humans sort of have a fascination with horror, yeah? So creepypastas kind of took off, especially in like 2011, 2010, that time period. I don't know if they're quite so popular these days. Like everything else, there's probably that golden period that everyone agrees was the best part, and then it gets oversaturated with garbage, and yeah, no one really likes it anymore. So yeah, that probably happened. I don't know. I don't really keep up with them anymore. So yeah, Slenderman was one of the original creepypastas. It's a story about well, the story is told over and over. I don't know the original version, but essentially he's a tall, thin man thing with no face that kills children or haunts them through the woods or something. Yeah, he's very vague, and the movie doesn't do a whole lot explaining that. So let's talk about the movie, because this isn't a disassembly of Slenderman as a character himself, but as the movie's portrayal of him. Because at the end of the day, Slenderman's creepypasta hits home on a couple levels. First off, it was one of the first ones to be a creepypasta, so it gained notoriety through that. Second off, the concept of inhuman creature like that hiding out in the woods waiting to snatch up children is, somewhat scary as like just a concept. Like I could get scared by that, yeah. And he does have like some history. I believe he originates from Germany. They had that dark forest over there or whatever. So it's easy to imagine that his legend could have started by a grandmother telling her terrified grandchildren not to go wandering out in the forest, otherwise the Slender Man would take them. In fact, I think if I was willing to look it up, but I'm not willing to do that on camera, that's probably what I'd find if I Googled it. So anyway, I suppose the most recent part of history before the movie came out about the Slenderman would be the Slenderman stabbings in Wisconsin. In case you didn't know, two teenage girls lured out one of their friends into the woods and tried to sacrifice her to the Slender Man. She survived the attack, and that kind of brought the whole thing under fire. I believe that influenced the movie somewhat. Some graphic scenes were cut or whatnot. I don't know. The movie was a huge stinking pile of mess, and we'll get to that in just a minute. I feel like it's important to properly criticize the movie to have an understanding of what it is we're criticizing. So yeah, that happened, proving that once again people will take things too far, and we're all really horrible when it comes down to it. So moving on to the movie itself. As far as horror movie goes, like if you just want a cheap, dumb horror movie that doesn't need any thought and just gets spooked by the jump scares, go ahead and watch it. It's dumb, it's stupid, I didn't like it. It was a waste of 93 minutes in my opinion. There are better horror movies out there, but as far as just a cheap horror thrill goes, I guess you get what you pay for with that. Although they paid like $10 million for it. Here, this is something I will Google on camera. Slenderman movie. Let's see. Yeah, 3.2 out of IBM. That's exactly how I was going to do it. Budget of 10 million to 28 million, although the box office it brought in 51 million. That's all right. I guess if it works, it works. Cool. 7% on Rotten Tomatoes. I agree with them significantly, but I'm not reading other people's words. I'm not reading other people's reviews. I'm making my own here. So, what didn't I like about the movie? Lots of the scenes are dark. It makes sense. You're shooting a scene that's, well, in the woods. It's going to be dark. Like, it wouldn't make sense for it to be super bright. But it got so dark, I really couldn't see anything that was going on. Like, at all. And that wasn't scary. That was annoying. I was like, okay, I get it. There's scary noises, but I can't see anything. So, what on earth? Second off, and this is somewhat of an attack on Slenderman's character, while it is somewhat creepy, the concept with him, they don't really do it justice. Like, it feels like they didn't flex Slenderman as much as they should have, and they flexed him too much at the same time. They showed him too early, showed him too frequently. I would have rather they built up to him to a reveal of him at the end. Like, obviously everyone knows the movie's about Slenderman. It's the title of the movie. So maybe give just a hint of him at the beginning, like think of the original Halloween 1 or 2. Those were good because we didn't get to see Jason or Freddy Krueger or any other one of the really good horror movies. We didn't get to see the monster until the way end usually. Like you got peaks of him here or there. And the original Halloween movie, they did a really good thing where you were always scanning the scene trying to find where Jason was hiding, even if like it didn't make sense. So that was cool. Am I doing the right thing? Was it Jason from Halloween? I don't know, actually. I can't remember. Whatever, that's not important. So my point is, I feel like that was a missed opportunity over here. Just hide Slenderman among the trees in one of the shots. Don't pan over to him. Don't focus on him. He's in the shot. Don't do the scary music to hint to the audience. Let the audience figure it out for themselves. Maybe linger on the area he's in for just a second or two to get people looking for him and just catching him as the scene changes. And speaking of scene changes, we had a lot of really weird, strange cuts where it felt like the movie was half made and they were doing one scene and they're like, oh wait, we have to cut that. So then just, oop, random cut. Hey, now we're here. Like that didn't make sense. Um, a complaint I'm always going to have about high school aged people in movies is that, well, they don't look high school age. They're in their 20s, obviously. They try and get young looking actors instead of high school students because the high school students have a right to have their 8 hours of school a day, which doesn't really work with filming, but again, the people look too old. They look like they're in their 20s. And I get it. You can't do that because of reasons, but it's still annoying for me. Anything else that I really, really didn't like? I'm actually reading off a small list I typed up here in a couple minutes, so I'm at the bottom of the list. I'm trying to think. I think that's that as far as the things I didn't like about it. What did I like about it? Conceptually, it works, I guess. Oh yeah, here's another thing I didn't like about it. What on earth was the third? What on earth was the plot there? The girls, spoiler alerts, by the way, guys. So the girls summon the Slender Man to spook them or whatever because reasons, because they don't believe it, whatever. And then like, okay, you're fucked. Now what? Like there was no fighting back in the film. It was just discovering, hey, we screwed ourselves over without really understanding the consequences of our actions because spooky or something. Like give the underdog a chance. That's what keeps people interested in films. So give these girls, the underdogs, a chance. Because it was just very stupid how it did. The visual effects had some horrifying elements. The acting wasn't super great. One of the girls, forget her name, don't remember any of the names. All the characters are very non-memorable, including Slenderman himself. But one of the girls actually tries a bit with the acting, and you can tell, like, she actually did a semi-good job. I liked her. Uh, yeah, it's bad. It's a really bad movie. I wouldn't recommend watching it unless you don't care for smart movies. Which, to be fair, if you just want a dumb, simple movie to watch and sit down with for 90 minutes, go watch A Quiet Place instead. But yeah, if you've already watched A Quiet Place, go watch this. I don't care. Yeah. Anything I really liked? There was one scene where the girls were looking up on the laptop something or other, and a shadow starts to stretch behind them, and I thought they were gonna get like a spook or something. I was like, oh hey, look at that! They're actually building up to a proper tension scene. And then, nope, cut away. One of those lovely cuts. So let's talk about jump scares for a minute, because this movie has its fair share of them. A lot of people hate jump scares. I'm one of them. I don't care for them, but I understand their importance for an interesting reason. You see, if you're watching a horror film, you've got this building tension, yeah? And if you don't let that tension out, it really, really screws with the audience. So jump scares are a way of, well, quickly removing that tension, similar to how pressure will build in a valve when it's filled with steam for whatever. So you have to occasionally pull the thing, let the steam out in the form of a jump scare. But there are movies that do it so much better that don't rely on just cheap jump scares. Like, jump scares are okay to keep the pacing and the tension going, but when you're relying on them for your main spooks, it's so stupid. Like, loud noises. Like, if I screamed right now and something scary flashed onto the thing, that would be a jump scare, right? But it's so dumb. Rather, something where the tension is building, the audience knows something is coming, they don't know from where. Not just a sudden fade to quiet and then something cute happens and then something scary happens, but where you feel the tension building. Um, yeah, I don't know any movie off the top of my head that does that right, and I'd really love to see that in the future. It's 2019, gosh darn it. We should have better movies. And to be fair, we are getting better movies, just not better horror movies. Maybe the genre is a bit hard to play to. But, whatever. Anything else in my review that is over 10 minutes long now? Yeah, overall I'd give it a 3 out of 10, and I say that independently before I looked up the ratings on Google. Just, I didn't care for it. It might be your cup of tea, it probably won't be, it's just a dumb film. I wouldn't pay money to see it. I got it off the library and watched it overnight. I watched it in a night. Yeah, waste of 93 minutes of my life, and this video has been a waste of 11 minutes of yours. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys again in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.